These are 7 lessons I wish I knew before buying a house. Because over the last few months, we've managed to sell our house, find what we thought was our forever home, and when sale agreed. But somehow we ended up right back where we started, which wasn't really the plan, of course. One lesson nearly cost us an extra €15,000. Another was hidden in the property ad the entire time and we completely missed it. And one of them only became obvious after we'd already started planning where the furniture was going to go. So if you're house hunting in Ireland, hopefully these lessons will save you from making the same mistakes we did. Because trust me, we've learned these the hard way. And stick around until the end because there's one bonus lesson we learned from all of this that honestly I think most buyers completely overlook. We certainly did. Lesson number 1: the estate agent doesn't work for you. Now, this sounds obvious. The estate agent works for the seller. But when you're actually buying a house, it's very easy to forget that. They're friendly, answer your questions, arrange the viewings, and send you updates. Before long, you start to feel like everyone is on the same team, but you're not. The estate agent's job is to get the best results for their client, and their client is not you. That doesn't make them a bad person or that they are doing anything wrong. Of course they're not. It just means you need to remember that nobody in the process of buying a house is going to protect your investments more than you. Not the estate agent or the seller. Not the lovely property description that makes every house sound like a charming countryside retreat instead of a financial obstacle course with windows. You have to ask questions and verify everything. You have to slow yourself down when your brain is already mentally moving the furniture in. And that brings me to lesson number 2. Lesson number 2. Sale agreed means less than most buyers actually think. So in Ireland, we say it means all. When we went sale agreed, we were over the moon. We thought, that's it, we've done it. We allowed ourselves to start imagining what it would look like living there. In our head, we were basically already living in the house. But then, the day after going sale agreed, I got a phone call. The seller wanted another €15,000, which was not exactly the follow-up call I was expecting. Thankfully, that situation eventually got resolved. But it was a very quick and stark reminder that sale agreed does not mean sold. In Ireland, until contracts are signed, things can still change. Sellers can change their mind and so can the buyer. Issues can appear, questions can get raised, and suddenly the house you thought was yours starts feeling a lot less certain. So celebrate it and enjoy it. When you go sale agreed, it's a big milestone. Just don't start ordering furniture yet. Trust me on that one. Lesson 3. Ask more questions than feels comfortable. When you're viewing a house, it's very easy to focus on the exciting stuff. The kitchen, the garden, the size of the bedrooms, the location, the attic and the driveway. But the questions that really matter most are usually much less exciting. Planning permission, boundaries, certs, services, extensions, even the solar panels. Basically all the things that make your eyes glaze over after 30 seconds. The problem is, these boring questions are often the important ones. And looking back now, there were probably things we should have dug into a little earlier. Because when you're standing in a beautiful house, imagining Christmas mornings, summer barbecues, and where you'll put your TV, it's very easy to forget to ask, hang on a second, does all this actually work the way I think it does? If a feature is helping to sell a house, ask about it. If something sounds impressive, ask about it. If you feel like you're asking too many questions, you're probably just getting started. Because once you buy the house, those questions become your problems. Lesson 4. The biggest risks are usually invisible. We viewed this house multiple times. We walked through every room, checked the garden, stood in the driveway trying to imagine ourselves living there. I even climbed into the attic. Everything looked great, and that's the problem. Because the thing that eventually caused us to walk away wasn't visible during any of those viewings. It wasn't a crack in the wall or the dampness or the roof hanging on for dear life. If we relied purely on what we could see, we'd probably own the house right now. The issue was hidden in information we didn't have at the beginning. That's one of the hardest things about buying a house. Sometimes the biggest risks aren't sitting in front of you. They're sitting in an email, a report, or a document, or in this case, a question our surveyor taught to ask which nobody else did. Which leads perfectly into lesson number 5. Never assume the advert tells the whole story. Looking back now, the clue was sitting right in front of us from the very beginning. The property ad proudly highlighted 22 solar panels and 5 kilowatt battery, which sounds fantastic. Lower bills, better efficiency, a future-proof house, and the benefit of feeling less guilty anytime you forget to turn off the immersion. Any Irish person knows how that feels. And because it was listed in the ad, we naturally assumed everything was working exactly as intended. And why wouldn't it be? But as we got further into the process, we discovered that wasn't actually the case. Suddenly, what looked like a major selling point became a major question mark. And that's the lesson. Don't just ask what the house has. Ask how it works and if it works. Because there's a big difference between the house has solar panels and this house has a solar system that actually works. Lesson number 6. Uncertainty can be more dangerous than the cost. When people hear what happened, the first question they usually ask is, couldn't you just fix it? And honestly, maybe. That was kind of the problem though. We asked questions, but nobody could give us a definitive answer. At one point, I felt like every conversation ended with, well, it depends. Which is not exactly the phrase you're hoping to hear when you're about to spend hundreds of thousands of euros on a house you want to buy. If somebody tells you a problem will cost 5,000 euro to fix, that's annoying, but at least it's clear and you can make a decision. What gets much more uncomfortable is when the answer becomes, we're not really sure, because you're trying to make one of the biggest financial decisions of your life based on a collection of educated guesses. The reality is uncertainty makes everything feel bigger. Every question creates another question. And before long, you're on Google for the last 3 hours reading things you don't fully understand and convince yourself you're becoming an expert at them. Sometimes the most expensive word in property isn't repair, it's the word maybe. Lesson number 7. Don't let emotions do the negotiating. By the time all of this happened, we really wanted the house. We'd imagined ourselves living there, seeing our kids grow up and ourselves grow old. In our heads, we'd basically moved in. And that's where buying a house gets dangerous. Because at some point, you're no longer evaluating the property. You're protecting a dream. Every concern starts sounding smaller than it is. Every risk starts sounding manageable. Every problem becomes, sure, it's probably grand. And to be fair, it probably would have been. Maybe. There was the word again. But eventually, we realized we weren't making a decision based on facts anymore. We were making decisions based on how badly we actually wanted a house. And that's when we knew it was time to walk away. Because if you're spending hundreds of thousands of euros on a house, hopefully isn't really the strategy you're looking for. Sometimes the right decision feels wrong, and sometimes the wrong decision feels very exciting. The trick is knowing the difference. And finally, the bonus lesson. This is the one I genuinely wish someone had explained to us at the start. Because if they had, I think we would have looked at the entire process differently. When we started house hunting, I thought the goal was to find the perfect house with the perfect location, the perfect garden, or simply the perfect place to raise a family. What I've realized since then is that buying a house isn't really about finding the perfect house. It's about understanding the risks. Every house has issues with something somewhere that you need to compromise on, something that just isn't quite ideal. I'd say it's very rare to find the perfect house, but I truly hope you and I will actually eventually find it. However, for near mortals like us common folk, the goal isn't to find a house with no problems. The goal is to find a house where you understand the problems. A house where the risks make sense. A house where there aren't any nasty surprises waiting for you after you've picked up the keys. Looking back now, that's really what all of these lessons come down to. Not avoiding every problem, just understanding which problems you're willing to live with. Because eventually we realized we weren't walking away from a house, we were walking away from uncertainty. And that's a decision I still think was the right one. So there you have it. 7 lessons and 1 bonus lesson that we learned the hard way. And hopefully sharing these lessons helps some of you to avoid making the same mistakes we almost made. And you best believe the search for our fire home isn't over yet. We're still looking, we're still viewing houses, and we're still trying to find the right home for our family. In fact, we've got a few more viewings lined up for properties that might actually suit us even better than the one we walked away from. So in the next video, I'll show you exactly what happened when we went to see them. Hopefully this time with a lot less drama. If you enjoyed the video, please consider giving it a like and subscribe to the channel. It genuinely helps us out as we continue documenting the journey and sharing everything we've learned along the way. Thanks very much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you again in the next video. Best of luck to you.